All right, so getting to the Bengals versus the Chiefs, and this is going to be a pretty fun game. I'm excited for this one, especially DFS-wise and also just NFL-wise. It feels like a toss-up to me. You had the Bengals who really, their past like 5 playoff games, it didn't seem like they had been winning the games, if that makes sense, except until last week. What I mean by that is there was some weird, just kind of fluky stuff that kept popping up in games that benefited the Bengals. Okay, obviously that game against Baltimore is a perfect example of that. It's just some weird stuff. So given the fact that they finally just like won a game, just took it to a playoff team, it makes it more difficult to me in terms of like who's going to win. And I would probably say the Bengals are going to win because of that last performance. But obviously it's going to be close. Let's look at it DFS wise. So for the Bengals, the toughest part about the slate is trying to figure out what to do with Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine. So game flow wise, this could very well be a game in which the Bengals get behind and have to throw the football a little bit more. If that happens, Samaje Perine is just a stud play. And I mean that stud play because he's going to get a lot more targets then. He is very much a game flow, game script dependent play. The question is, could we possibly play him in the captain spot? I would say yes in that very unique situation in which they're playing from behind. They have to throw the football a lot more, and he's going to get 7 targets, 5 receptions. And then he gets lucky with a touchdown. Okay, it's very much a luck-based play, but that's really what we have. I personally have had a tough time ending up on Joe Mixon. Okay, Joe Mixon was out that last game against the Chiefs, and Joe Mixon has been better recently. 3 of his last 4 games are really going to make him a difficult fantasy football player to rank next season because he had been pretty terrible besides one game given the amount of workload he was getting. And so although he is getting a big workload, I have had a tough time playing him today on this slate. So he feels like a pass because we want to prioritize Jamar Chase, who has just been getting targeted so much on the field so much. His usage is insanely high. It's just tough not to like him. Now, one of his worst games this season, and I say worst, he scored 16.7, was against the Chiefs last time out, but was 3 yards shy of the 100-yard bonus, had 8 targets, had 7 receptions. So like, I really want to prioritize Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow absolutely lit it up in that game as well. That was one of his best games of the season, scoring 30 DK points. And so to me, if they win this football game, it's going to be because Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase had really good games. It's not going to be because Joe Mixon had a great game. That's just kind of how I see it playing out. From there, could we play T. Higgins? We certainly could. He's kind of due for a big game, is he not? It's been a while since he's had a big game. And one of his biggest games of the season, I shouldn't say biggest games, but he did score a touchdown against the Chiefs, had 12.5 DK points. And so it just feels like he is due for a big game. And so what I was going to say is like one of his biggest games of the season was kind of in a similar situation in which he had a couple of duds in a row and then just went off against the Patriots. And that's kind of how this game feels as well, is that he's just due for that big game. And if he doesn't have it, I don't really expect Hayden Hurst to really have another huge game like he had last week, 16.9 DK points. So I think we would just be defaulting to Tyler Boyd in that situation. The issue with Tyler Boyd is he hasn't been productive as well. It's kind of strange in the sense that T. Higgins hasn't really been going off and Tyler Boyd hasn't exactly been going off. But if we are betting on Joe Mixon not going off, then we are betting that one of Boyd or Higgins is going to go off. And so really it comes down to price point. Higgins is obviously higher priced. I think he's more likely to go off, but Tyler Boyd playing about the same amount of snaps, kind of just been defaulting to Tyler Boyd. Okay. And that's the difficult part. Is there anyone else we could potentially play? I mean, maybe Mitchell Wilcox, try to get a lucky touchdown, but he's going to be on the field a decent amount, most likely. You could do that. I don't love it, but he's like the lowest priced player that's going to score points I see. Now, looking at the Chiefs side of the football, the Chiefs kind of get me a little bit more excited. Obviously, if we can afford to pay up for Patrick Mahomes, we want to do so. But the question is, if he has a dud like 15 and 16 DK points, is that going to be in a winning lineup? Probably not. Okay. Look at Travis Kelce. We probably want to try to find a way to play Travis Kelce in our builds, right? One of his worst games, though, was against the Chiefs. Really struggled there. And so this is a very weird slate in which if Patrick Mahomes struggles, I would assume that's because Travis Kelce is getting shut down. Okay. So you can make a very unique build based off of that. And I'll show you guys at the end here. I don't like it because it doesn't correlate well, but there is a very unique build in which you could put out there. And Jerick McKinnon has been he outsnapped Pacheco last week, but Pacheco was the more productive player. And so this is kind of more of a game script dependent play as well. Pretty much if you are playing Samaje Perine, you probably want to play Pacheco, because if you're playing Perine, you're saying that the game is going to be a game in which the Bengals are playing from behind. Thus, someone like Pacheco would get more work rushing the football, right? And so let's say you're not playing Samaje Perine at all, then you're just going with Jerick McKinnon because it's going to be a much closer game, a game in which, McKinnon's probably going to get more work. And I would say you're going McKinnon and Mixon, or you're going Pacheco and Perine, because it just works that way. Now, to me, I really hate the price tag of Kadarius Toney. I was excited to play him. Okay, the issue with him has been he's only been getting around 30% of the snaps the last 2 weeks. The good thing about him is they are finding ways to get him the football, because they should be. He's their third best weapon. Mahomes, Kelsey, Toney. The issue with him is he can't stay healthy. Okay, but over 10 DK points in 3 straight games, I was excited to play him. It does seem like too high of a price tag. Would it be shocking to see Toney break a couple of big plays? No, it would not be. Would it be shocking to see him get 50% of the snaps? No, it would not be. The way that something like that would happen is if McCole Hardman is out, and they might ease him back in. Just, I don't know. It seems like a situation where if he plays, he's good to go. And if he doesn't play, well, then obviously we don't have to worry about it. But like, why put someone injured out there at this point of the season? Like, you don't need to ease them back into, the game flow. This is win or go home. So either he's healthy enough to play or he's not. We do got to monitor Justin Watson. He has been getting a lot of snaps as well. So like, if those two players are out, then yes, Toney is going to be someone that gets elevated a little bit more as a play. But then so would MVS. And I hate saying that because MVS has been so bad this season, so bad. I mean, who scores a touchdown on the Kansas City Chiefs while playing 50% of the snaps and only scores 7.6 DK points? Like, what is going on there? I mean, he's bad. We know that. But he's that cheap price tag for a guy that really takes one catch for him to hit value. And so that's really going to be the deciding point. Is like, it feels like we need to choose correctly between MVS, maybe even Juju, who has been playing the most snaps, and then Toney. I like Toney, just give him the talent. So here is that extremely ugly build that I had made. And like I said, I guess if we're going P. Ryan, we'd probably want to go Pacheco, but this is very much a game in which, or a lineup in which, and I'd probably want to go Joe Burrow even instead here than Travis Kelsey. It just makes more sense there. This is very much a game in which you are saying, all right, Patrick Mahomes is going to struggle, and then Travis Kelsey is going to struggle. We could probably upgrade our captain here. Let's see if we can do that. Oh, it didn't work. 100 off. That's painful. Okay, so a slight adjustment. I actually don't mind this. T. Higgins, like I said, it feels like he's due for a big game. Then you got Joe Burrow, obviously benefiting there. We got 2 of his pass catchers. We got McKinnon in there. Then P. Ryan, just given the price tag, we want P. Ryan. Like I said, it makes more logical sense to do Mixon and McKinnon together or P. Ryan and Pacheco. It makes logical sense. Just if Mixon's going to get a ton of work, it's going to be because they're up. And if he's going to have a really good game, then that's going to mean that McKinnon's going to be on the field more. And then vice versa. But that's it, guys. I don't feel really comfortable, obviously, fading Mahomes or Kelsey. That's kind of just the lineup path that was presented. And so it's obviously a lineup path that I made trying to predict game flow. And it's probably a lineup path that 80% of you guys are going to hate. And I won't blame you. If you do hate it, probably not the best slate to play. That is where I thought we could find an edge on the slate and by being unique on the slate. We'll see if it works out. We got one more game left, the Super Bowl. I'll be excited to break that down, guys. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the coverage thus far this season. It's been a fun season. That's the last one until the Super Bowl. All right, thanks for watching as always. Let's keep cashing.